Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, turn on post notifications, and join the family, because you already know we bring you all the hottest gist, trends, and viral conversations you don't want to miss. Now today, this is one of those conversations that didn't just appear out of nowhere. It started quietly, built gradually, and then suddenly, it became something a lot of people are talking about at the same time. Right now, some fans are beginning to feel like there might be more going on beneath the surface when it comes to Maurice, Sam, and Pearl Watts. And what's interesting is not just the idea itself, but how that idea is forming, spreading, and evolving in real time. Let's get into it. When situations like this begin, they rarely start with something loud or obvious. Most of the time, it begins with something small, a moment, a detail, a brief interaction that might not stand out to everyone immediately. But then someone notices it. And once it's noticed, it doesn't stay small, because attention changes everything. People go back to look again. They observe more carefully. They start to break things down in ways they normally wouldn't. And that's when interpretation begins, because once people start analyzing something closely, they begin to form opinions about what they're seeing. And those opinions don't all look the same. What one person sees as completely normal, another might see as something worth questioning. What one person overlooks, another might focus on deeply. And this difference in perception is what fuels conversations like this. In this case, the idea that something might be hidden didn't come from a single conclusion. It came from multiple people noticing things that, to them, didn't feel entirely straightforward. And once that feeling begins to form, it starts to influence everything else. Because now, every new moment is no longer neutral. It becomes something to analyze. People begin connecting dots. They begin comparing moments. They begin looking for patterns. And when they feel like they're seeing consistency, even if it's subtle, it strengthens their belief. Another important factor is how powerful repetition can be. When people keep seeing similar opinions being expressed over and over again, it starts to feel more significant, even if those opinions originally came from just a few individuals, because repetition creates familiarity. And familiarity can sometimes feel like confirmation. So what starts as maybe slowly becomes this might actually be something. From there, it can turn into there's definitely something going on. This shift doesn't always come from new evidence. Sometimes it comes from the same idea being repeated in different ways across different spaces. And that's how narratives grow. Another layer to this is the role of social media. Social platforms amplify everything. Once a topic starts gaining attention, it spreads quickly. More people see it. More people react to it. More people add their own interpretations. And with every new perspective, the conversation becomes bigger and more complex. Because now, it's not just one idea, it's multiple ideas interacting at the same time. Some people are convinced, some people are skeptical, and others are somewhere in between, and all of these perspectives exist together. Another important aspect is how incomplete information shapes perception. People are reacting to what they can see. But what they can see is often limited. It's a moment, a short clip, a small piece of a much larger picture. And when people try to build a full story from limited information, interpretation fills in the gaps. But interpretation is influenced by personal thinking, which means it can vary widely. And that variation is what creates different conclusions. Another factor is curiosity. When something feels unclear or not fully explained, it naturally draws attention. People want to understand it. They want to figure it out. They want to know what's really going on. And that curiosity keeps the conversation active. Because as long as people are curious, they will continue to watch, analyze, and discuss. And every new observation adds another layer. Another layer to consider is how quickly ideas evolve online. Something that starts as a simple observation can quickly turn into a strong belief. Because online spaces move fast, opinions don't stay still. They develop. They spread. They influence each other, so what begins as a question can quickly become a widely discussed assumption. And once that assumption takes hold, it becomes part of the overall narrative. At the same time, not everyone shares the same perspective. Some people look at the same situation and see nothing unusual. They feel like everything is being overanalyzed. They believe small details are being turned into something bigger than they actually are. And that viewpoint is just as present in the conversation. Which is why reactions remain mixed. Because different people are seeing different things. Another important layer is emotional response. People don't just observe situations like this, they react to them. Some reactions come from curiosity, some come from excitement, some come from skepticism, and some come from a mix of all three. These emotional responses influence how strongly people hold their opinions. And the stronger the opinions, the more active the conversation becomes, because people want to express what they think. They want to share their perspective. They want to engage with others, and that engagement keeps everything moving. Another key factor is how people naturally look for meaning. Humans are wired to try to understand what they see. When something doesn't feel completely clear, the mind tries to make sense of it. It tries to find patterns. It tries to connect dots. And sometimes, in doing that, it creates connections that may or may not actually exist. But once those connections are formed, they feel real to the person making them. And when many people begin to form similar connections, it strengthens the overall belief. Another aspect to consider is how attention influences importance. When something is being talked about a lot, it automatically feels more significant, even if it started from something small, because attention gives weight to a topic. It makes it feel like something worth paying attention to. And once that happens, more people get involved, more opinions are shared, and the conversation continues to expand. At the center of it all is attention. Attention fuels everything. As long as people are watching, analyzing, and discussing, the topic continues to grow. It evolves with every new comment, every new observation, and every new interpretation. And that's exactly what we're seeing right now. A situation where a small idea has turned into a much larger discussion. A discussion shaped by observation, interpretation, repetition, and perception. Some people are convinced there is something being hidden. Some people are not convinced at all. And many are simply observing, trying to make sense of everything. But the conversation itself is very much alive. And as long as it remains active, it will continue to evolve. But that's just what's being talked about right now. Eyes, what do you think? Do you feel like fans might actually be noticing something real? Or do you think this is just another case of people reading too much into things? Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Let's talk about it. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on post notifications so you never miss any updates. I'll see you guys in the next one.